Survival podcast. Yeah. The pain becomes purpose, no fear, no remorse. Say it again. Through the pain, through the fire, through the worst of my day. We made it. I found purpose in the breaking. Right there. Survival isn't a whisper. I know. Go if you listen, you survive. Still breathing, still alive. God never wastes the hurting. Every chapter had a rolling down.
Gail Estella, and welcome to the Gail and Stella Survival Podcast.
From pain comes purpose. No fear, no remorse. Survival isn't a whisper. Through the worst of my day. And the breaker isn't no whisper.
Hello, everyone. This is Gail Estella, and welcome to the Gail Estella Survival Podcast. Here's where we turn pain into pleasure, because survival isn't a whisper, it's a roar. And before we get started, there's a couple of things I need from you. The first thing is, will you please go and like, share, and subscribe to the Gail Estella Survival Podcast? Secondly, who are you tuning in from? I'm here in Aiken, South Carolina. Put in the comment box below where you're tuning in from. Are you following me on all of my social media platforms? If not, will you please do so at Gail Estella? And lastly, Through It All by Gail Estella. Have you purchased your copy yet? If you haven't, it's not too late. You can go to TrueVinePublisherCompany.org, Amazon.com, GailEstella.com, or anywhere books are sold. My guest tonight, I met this gentleman through my marketing coach, Chris Bond, which is his brother. And he became the publisher of my book, Through It All, through his publishing company, TrueVine Publishing Company. And I just want to thank him so much for believing in me. And sometimes it's the connections that helps us achieve our purpose. And he has done that for me. And I am going to introduce you to him right now, Mr. Timothy Bond.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Bond. How are you doing?
I am wonderful.
Thank you. And again, I would like to say thank you for bringing my story alive.
Absolutely. I'm so impressed with this podcast. I mean, that intro was amazing.
That's your brother.
I love it. Got your own song and everything.
That is all your brother.
I've been looking forward to this interview. You know, yes. I was a little salty. I was like, when you first came out with it, I was like, I want to be on this show. I never got an invite, so I'm so glad I got an invite.
And like I told you, I didn't know of anything that you might have survived.
He ain't lived no life. He ain't survived nothing. Everything is good for Tim.
Yes. So I'm ready, and we're going to get started. For the lack of just not knowing where to jump in, I wanted to go back to the little boy. The little boy, Timothy Bond. Tell us about him.
Timbo. That's what our family calls him.
All right. Yes, Timbo.
Let's see. So, I was the youngest male child of 4 males. We had a pretty good life as far as, comfortability financially when I was coming up. I'm the child of entrepreneurs. My father and my mother, they had a real estate business. I'm sure you've all heard this from Chris's interview. So we had, good money coming in. However, one of the issues is that there was a lot of fighting and arguing about money and issues with our parents. So at the age of 10, my father left, and so my brothers raised me pretty much, and so I feel like I'm the product of two young men who were put in a position where they had to influence a younger brother, right? And they did what young men do. We don't know any better. We don't know the impact of every word we say or the way we treat people. We're just kids, and we had testosterone, so we bullied the little one, right? So this is kind of like the upbringing of being a sensitive child. First of all, I was very sensitive, and then having two bigger brothers who wanted to, I guess, make me tough.
Yes,
because you can't be sensitive, so they're trying to make me tough, and and it all worked out, of course, to be what it's supposed to be. Whoever I am, what I agree with, what I don't agree with, it all worked together to shape me, and I feel like I have a great life now. I feel like I love my life. And all things work together
for the greater. Yes, they do. That's what the word says.
Yes. So that was little Tim.
That was little Tim. So how old were you when your father left?
I was 10 years old, Gail. I remember it to this day.
You were.
I was. He was leaving. We had one of those glass doors that you pull back and forth, like a really big glass door, and he was leaving, and it was cold outside, and I remember going to the door, and as he was leaving, I said, I was like, it's cold outside, like, where are you gonna go? And he said to me, you have a good heart. And then he shut the door and left. And I remember that to this day. Like that moment really sticks with me. And when I say he left at 10, like, he would come back, but he would always, after that point, it was easy for him to just leave when it got stressful. So he would come back and forth. My mom, my parents are the example of can't live with them, can't live without them.
Yes.
They could not, they couldn't stand each other when they were together, but they couldn't stand to be apart, right? Yeah. My mom never remarried. She didn't even divorce him even though he was gone for decades, she didn't even divorce him literally until I think I was grown and married.
Oh, wow.
And she had to divorce him to get away from the credit connections that she had. And that's the only reason she divorced him. It was really just to get away from all the credit issues that was keeping her financially bound. But I mean, it was just one of those things where, they couldn't stay together, but they couldn't be apart. Like, they loved each other.
And I remember during our conversation, you said that you were your father's favorite.
See, now you gonna get me in trouble. I will say, I don't know if I was his favorite, but he did favor me.
He favored you. Okay. So tell us the difference from being the favorite and favoring you. Tell the audience the difference.
The difference is one sounds worse than the other. One sounds really bad. But he did favor me. And I believe the reason he favored me is because I was told all my life that I was a proper child. All my life, they say that when I was born, my grandfather looked at me and said, oh, this is a proper child. When I went to church, the pastor, and I recall the pastor saying, this is a proper child. He's going to be a preacher, right? So all my life, people been telling me and telling my parents, oh, that's going to be your preacher right there. He's going to be a preacher. And so my father's really religious. And my mother was religious as well. But I believe that in their minds, with that declaration over my life, they just felt like he's okay. You know, he's doing terribly in school, but he's okay because that's the proper child. God got his hand on him. Whatever's going on, he's going to be okay, right?
He has been prophesized over.
Right.
The declaration has been made over his life.
Right. Yeah. So they just kind of like, I guess, took their hands off the wheel. They're like, that's the Tesla right there. He's got a guiding system that's going to take him to where he needs to be. And so my father did. He would, you know, when my birthday came around, I get huge gifts. And he got us all big gifts, but I get huge gifts. Even when we didn't have money, like he bought my car. He didn't buy my brothers a car. But yeah, he went and bought my car. I wrecked it, tore it up. He fixed it. And got it.
Left the home, right? Yeah.
You know, so I think that, you know, that idea that I was the proper child, it had an impact on how they handled me, how they disciplined me. And then, you know, my brothers are watching this happen, right? They're watching the things that they get in trouble for. I don't get in trouble for, right? The things that the bad grades. When my brothers came home with a C, you know, it was trouble. I come home, you know, the teacher wrote on my report card, Tim passed by the skin of his teeth. Like that's a literal, that's what she wrote on the report card, right? And I just never felt those consequences. So, you know.
Were you astute enough at that age to recognize the difference in the way, you know, the way that you were being treated opposed to your brother?
Only when my brothers would harass me about it. My brothers, you know, they would make it known. They would make it known. You don't get in trouble for nothing. You know, all that stuff. And I remember one day I wrote my dad a letter because they were on me so hard. I wrote my dad a letter like, I love you, but next time when I get bad grades, please spank me or hold me accountable or something. I said, like, you know, they made it known that they didn't appreciate the fact that I just didn't get in trouble for stuff that they got in trouble for.
Once you said that the arguing in the household, how did that affect you? Because you said you were a sensitive child.
Yeah.
So with the parents arguing in the household the way that they did, and with you being the sensitive one, how did it affect you even more?
It was very hard on me. I remember waking up one day and they were yelling and arguing, and I just got out of bed, just got on my knees, and just started praying for God to stop the arguing, you know. And one of the things that it did to me, it really shaped my idea of what success looked like. And I felt like success as a business person meant money arguments, being away from your family. And so the life I have today is shaped off of the negative of the picture I saw.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Totally opposite.
Yeah. Some people see something and they're shaped by that. And some people see something and they say, whatever I have to do to be the opposite of that, that's what I'll do. And so, yeah, I immediately internalized that with the way my brothers treated me, with the way I saw my parents. I internalized that and I said, I want a happy family. I want a family that's like peaceful and everybody loves each other and we don't, you know, pick on each other, right? Those kind of things. To this day, my kids laugh about the fact that they could do a lot of stuff, but if one of them told the other one to shut up, I would explode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they laugh about it to this day. Like they never did curse, but they felt like they could curse. But if I told someone, if they told each other to shut up, that's when I really would kick in. And that all came from like the different experiences I had as a kid.
Yeah.
Where you are dismissed and, talked down to. So yeah, my life and how I decided to approach life was to be the opposite, to be the negative of the picture that I was living in.
And that's interesting because a lot of times it's easier to gravitate to what it is that you know. Yeah. It's hard to work against what it is that you know, and the learned behaviors that we grew up in. Right. It's hard to learn against those.
Right.
And so I commend you for that. Seeing your father coming in and out of the household. Mm. What did that do to you, or what did that do even to your mom? Or did you have any type of feelings towards your mom? Well, why do you allow this to happen? Or you just understood that this was the dynamics of their relationship? Or it was your father, so this is daddy coming back home again?
It was the dynamic. It was arguing. I didn't understand to a certain extent what my mom was fighting, right? Until I got older and I started to experience some of my own experiences with my dad and the way he talks to you and the way he manipulates you and different things like that. And I'm sure my mom had her own issues. My mom's patience was about a hair thin. So, her patience was very short. So I'm sure they both had their own issues. I don't think I ever internalized the anger at my mom or my dad for their dysfunctional relationship. I only internalized issues wherein he wasn't there for us.
Yes.
Right? The ball games he never showed up to, and when he did show up to them, instead of having good words or having, encouragement, it was, picking apart the game and what you did wrong, what you need to improve on. Those are the things that, where if there was bitterness or anger, those are the types of things that cause anger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a word for that now. Mm-hmm. And it's just so ironic how we have all these words for certain situations, like it's new, what's happening is new. Right. And coercion and coercion and coercive control. Okay. And with coercive control, do you know what coercive control is?
Teach me, tell me something.
Okay. So basically, coercive control, it falls under the realm of domestic abuse. But instead of the physical part, it's more the emotional, the intimidation, the isolation, the psychological, the financial. All of those things falls under coercion. Okay. And people have been doing that. Men have been doing that from the beginning of time. But now there's a word for it. And I think people are more aware of different forms of abuse. And I don't even want to use the word abuse because a lot of times marriages, because my father was the type of man, he was the king of his household. My father was a stern man. He was 10 years older than my mother. And he was basically the king of his household. And I look at it now as some forms of coercion or controlling, but that was just the way a lot of relationships and marriages were set up during that time.
Yeah. Another thing that I learned or figured out as I got older, we are not far away from slavery and the abuse and trauma passed down, right? My grandfather died at like 92. So he was born either not like no more than a couple of decades beyond slavery, right? Which means my great grandfather was a slave. Okay. So my great grandfather, who probably experienced discipline through abuse, beatings, being talked to, he raises his child, my grandfather. My grandfather displays those same behaviors towards my father, right? And here we are in 2025, 2026, and I'm changing kind of the bloodline and the DNA, the trauma, but we're just talking about 4 generations, right? And so, you know, when we think about, that's one of the things that I also give my father the grace of, is that you have to understand this man was abused by someone who was abused by someone who was abused. You see what I mean? And so we have the opportunity, those of us who have this opportunity, to change the bloodline, change the DNA of our children going forward by giving a completely different lifestyle. Because I don't know if I can go this deep, but everything that our trauma is recorded in our DNA and passed down to our children, right? So that abuse, even if it's like if somebody who's abused, they have a child, that child within their DNA has the expression of abuse within them. And that's why we see these people who constantly get into these cycles, because it's recorded in us. And so when we have one person that breaks out, and I can say with joy in my heart, not pride, that my son has a great relationship with his father, right? My daughters have a great relationship with their father. That DNA is changing within them. And when they have children, they're going to pass on a different experience, right? And that's the power of, no matter what has happened, being able to change it and create a new reality with a new generation.
And you said something earlier, for those that can change it.
Yeah.
I think, and I always think about when we talk about change, first we have to acknowledge that there's a change that needs to happen, to transpire.
Right.
Then we have to accept it. And then once we accept it, then we can do something about it.
Yeah.
So what part of that change do you think people fall short in?
Everything starts at the root. Everything starts at the root, right? And so acknowledging is more than just acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is acceptance, right? Acceptance is taking control of something. Now, the majority of us who don't like our lives or don't like something that we're in, the majority of us look at the external and say, this is the reason I'm this way. Because of what you did, because of what you said, that's the reason I'm acting like this. And until you take control of your life and say, I understand what was done, but for me, I choose this, right? Until you take that control and take that power back, you're not going to be able to take that next step, which is moving towards change, right? So I do think acknowledging, and then there are some issues with mental issues, like mental
health.
If you're mentally not able to properly diagnose or process, then that's something that's deeper.
That's totally different.
Yeah. So one of my biggest revelations, I almost cried when I read it, the book, The Conspiracy to Destroy the Black Boy. And I just saw my whole life in this book. I saw the way I was treated in school, how I was ignored, how no one, how I personally, right, couldn't sit down long enough or be quiet long enough to be in a classroom without getting in trouble. Like all of these things, there are ways that Black boys and even black children, because our homes are more, our homes are louder. We have a lot more going on in our home. We have music playing in one room. We have, our mothers, when they on the phone, they laugh. Right. That's our experience. Mm-hmm. And then you're telling us to go sit in a class and be quiet and listen to a white woman, particularly most of the time a white female, talk about stuff that it's not built for us to really prosper in those situations. Everybody has different temperaments. My middle child, that's her temperament. Sit down, let me listen. She takes in information, she processes it. She comes from the same parent, right? So everybody has their own temperament, but these systems are set up in such a way that we have to understand that we have to take control over the traumas that we've experienced. It does not mean that you accept what somebody did to you as being okay. That's okay. If you acknowledge, what they did to me was wrong, but I release it. I release it because I have to move forward. I have to learn to live in my own peace, right? And so holding on to unforgiveness, unforgiveness is a poison that we're putting in ourselves, hoping it's going to hurt somebody else, right? You're just increasing the trauma that you have experienced because you're holding on. Like that person is going on about their way. And when you think about them, you relive all of that trauma. Mm-hmm. You put all that anger back in yourself instead of releasing it. So now every time you try to move forward, you can't, because you still got all this baggage and anger and resentment for everything that everybody's done to you. And I'm not trying to make it sound like it's simple, which
that was going to be my next question. For the person that's struggling with release, for the person that's struggling with unforgiveness, tell us how you were able to achieve this.
So personally, I'm going to say some things that I've heard other people say, and then I'm going to say what I do, because I tend to think my way is simple. I have published many books, right? One of the common threads in most books from people who are telling their life story of how they overcame the pains and the wrongdoings that other people did is they said it didn't come suddenly, but it came as they consistently forgave the person, right? Mm-hmm. You think about that person, you get angry, you have an option, you have a choice. You have a choice to forgive them. Now, for me, I verbally say it. I have to put the words in the atmosphere. I forgive them. I say those words. I was at work one day and I was calling somebody and they hung up on me. It was like, I don't know. It wasn't anybody I knew. It was a call I had to make for the job. And they said something smart and hung up on me. And I said, I forgive them, and hung up, right? Because I had started that practice. Well, one of my coworkers heard that, and she laughed when she heard it. But the next day she came back and she was like, I was driving down the street and this guy cut me off and I did what you did. I said, I forgive them. And she said it made her feel so much better. She released that, right? So I think there's power in saying verbally, I forgive them. Mm-hmm. And if you say you forgive them, it doesn't mean you forget what they did. It doesn't mean you're okay with what they did. It means that I'm taking this moment and I'm putting it away. I will not keep holding on to it, right? When you say you don't forget what they did, it doesn't mean that you're like, if you do it again, I'm going to remember. It means you're going to learn from what happened. You're going to learn the red flags that you ignored, right? You're going to learn the behavior you saw that you didn't quite understand it. You knew it just didn't feel right. You're going to learn from experienced. And that's what you should mean when you say, I forgive you, but I won't forget. Mm-hmm. You should be, you're not going to forget those lessons that you were being taught, right, in that moment. And that's a tough saying. That's a tough saying to some people, to say these are lessons I was being taught.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But
but if we look at everything in life as a lesson,
right,
it could propel us higher and differently.
Right.
Yes.
Everything, here's another tough saying. Everything in life happens for us. So that's a tough saying, because some people are like, I did not want to be raped. I did not want my child to die. I did not, right? So it's a tough saying. It's a tough saying to say that, and I recognize that. But those people like yourself who have written books that have changed people's lives, saved people's lives, if you had not gone through it, if you had not experienced it, survived it, and come out of it, there are so many people who would not be helped, who would not survive it, because you didn't go through it, right? And so what happened to you happened for you, for the greater purpose in your life, not against you.
And to help someone else.
Yeah.
Do it.
I just want to throw this in. I say this all the time. If you know anything about Martin Luther King Jr., he tried to commit suicide 3 times, right? And you ask yourself, where would we be if there had not been that one person and the influence that one person had, right? Well, here's the thing. Everybody has a global impact, right? There's the saying that if you throw a pebble in the ocean, you change the tide. Everybody's connected. And that's where the problem is. We think we're separate. We're all connected. It's like this shirt. If I take one thread, if I keep pulling it, the whole shirt. Right? We're all connected. What I do to you impacts what you do to somebody else. It impacts how fast you were driving, right? And you slowed somebody down who got to work late because you were in that mood. They got to work late, they got fired, right?
Yes.
No. Mm-hmm. But everything is connected, right?
Like the 6 degrees of separate. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's all connected. I truly believe that everything is balanced. The speed of light, if it was 1 degree faster, would probably burn a hole through us, right? If it's 1 degree slower, it probably wouldn't light. You know what I mean? Like, everything is balanced. Everything we go through is balanced. And when we trust God enough to say, whatever you throw my way, I know you got me. I know I'll come out of this.
And I like to say, and with using the scenario of the light, I like to say God is intricate because he is so definite. He's so intricate that he knows if it's a speed, a second too fast or a second too slow. And basically the same thing with us. He's designed us. He knows what we're going to go through, what he's going to allow us to go through. And he knows the impact that it can have and will have on someone. And I think the thing too is once we go through some of the things we go through, and I was talking to my sister the other day about a situation, and she said she wasn't ready to reveal it. And we all have our time and when we're ready to talk about the traumas or whatever it is that we've experienced. But when God releases us, the impact. We're going to move forward.
Okay.
The young man that the teacher said that he's surviving by the thin of the thread of his teeth.
The skin on his teeth. Yeah.
The skin on his teeth. Tell us how you got to college and tell us how you excelled in college.
Yeah.
And we'll move forward from that.
So this is, I think, when we had our pre-interview, I talked about how my brothers, picked on me and stuff, but my brothers also looked out for me, right? Mm-hmm. So I was, after high school, of course I couldn't get into a university with my GPA. And so I went to Nashville State College. And after the first semester, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, right? And then out of the blue, I get a call from my brother, Johnny. Johnny had, excelled in school. He became the Student Government Association president. I got a call from Johnny. He's like, get your transcript and bring it to TSU. I got you in college. So I'm like, really? I go, I get my transcript, take it in. You're like, do your financial aid, blah, blah, blah. I get in college. First day of school, Johnny tells me, go down to the student newspaper and tell them you want to work for the student newspaper. I'm just doing whatever my big brother tells me to do, right? I don't know what I want to do. I don't know anything about student newspapers. I know that I like to write poetry. I never knew anybody looked at me like, there's a path for you.
It's a gift. Yeah, you had a gift.
So I go down, I join the newspaper, right? All of this is setting up a trajectory for me that so I get in college and something switched. I never made A's in school unless it was a very easy course, unless it was a course that you had to really work hard to make a C, but when I got to college, it just triggered, it just worked. It made sense. And so I was getting Dean's List and, I was on Dean's List. I mean, things have really switched. But at the end of my, second semester of my freshman year, I had a child on the way. So I went from kid to adult life in the switch. I always wanted a child. I always wanted a family. Like I said when we first started, I wanted the negative of the life I was living. To me, the negative of that was a happy family, wife, children who adored me.
Picket fence and the dog. And
So there was no question. Actually, God had already told me before I even started dating my wife that she was my wife, right? We have a child, we conceive a child. So I go from a kid who's getting allowance from my dad. So that's what I'm saying. My dad, he had his issues, but when he was making money, he was sending money, right? So when I was in college, he was sending me $800 a month, right?
That's a lot of money.
You see what I'm saying? So you can see what I mean. He favored me. He favored me. He was sending me $800 a month. Something in me said, hey, I said to my wife, my girlfriend at the time, hey, let's create a savings account so we can have money when we do stuff, right? So I'm taking this $800, I'm throwing it in a savings account. I'm working as a valet parker. All my tips, I'm throwing in a savings account, right? I'm just stacking up cash. I don't know why.
That was so intuitive of you.
That's what, it wasn't. I feel like God, that was a moment where God was like, something's coming. I'm going to download this into you.
Yes, I'm preparing you for something.
I'm preparing you. So I'm just stacking this cash. I got $1,900 in a savings account. we conceive our child. I have the money to get our apartment, to get furniture, to get her engagement ring. Everything I needed, right, was right there, right? And so God has just led me and guided me. Johnny telling me to go down to the newspaper. That got me in journalism. That led me to, getting a job I got a job as an editor at a publishing company, which led to me creating TrueVine Publishing Company.
So with the Timothy bond, that was the people pleaser, the sense of identity, you had a girlfriend, someone that probably saw more in you than you saw in yourself at the time. Would that be safe to say?
Yeah. I was thinking about that this morning. My wife. I used to think my wife made me feel like a genius. No, I used to think my wife thought I was a genius until I realized my wife made me feel like a genius. And that's two different things. That's two different things.
Like favorite and favor.
Right. But it speaks to how somebody can build you up, as you were saying, like how we treat people. Like, you could be looking at me right now like, what's he talking about? Or you could give me that nod that you're giving me, that smile, that encourages me, that builds me up, that makes me give more, right? And so that's what we get. That's what we get from how we treat people and how we want to be treated. All of that. This is going to blow your mind because it blew my mind. The whole time I was beating myself up and feeling like I was not valuable, God was giving me everything I wanted. Now, I told you what I wanted was to be the great dad, the great husband. I want to be there for my kids because my dad was always out working, making the money. So he wasn't there for games. He wasn't there for anything outside of church. When I look back, and this just happened this year or late last year, I look back, I was able to take my kids to school, pick them up from school. I've been at every event. My kids don't even want me to come out to stuff anymore because they're like, like my son he goes to a gym and he does boxing, right? I'm like, oh, let me know when. No, leave me. I don't want you coming, right? That's because my wife and I are at everything. My daughter was doing something in Alabama. We were on the road. It doesn't matter. Although I didn't like the tightness of our finances, I didn't like the tightness of our finances in a nice neighborhood. I was driving a nice car, right? So the stuff I didn't like, I was still in a nice house. I was still driving a nice car. We were still eating out every day, right? I'm stressing and I'm mad and I'm unhappy, but through it out, if I pull out, and stretch it out, it's like you're complaining living in this really nice house. You're complaining driving this nice car, right? You're complaining even though you're at every event your kids ever had. So did you have what you wanted? And the answer is yes. If I had known then, I would not have stressed so much.
Yes.
Right? About the fact that the account is tight, right? Or the account is in the red. Because I'm living my dream. And as soon as my kids graduated, Gail, my business started to blow up. And it was like, wow, God was giving me exactly what I wanted, right? I didn't want to be successful and to the disadvantage of my kids.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have so much business that I couldn't go to the dance recitals, right? But now the kids are gone. God is like, okay, now you have time for all this business. right? He's been giving me everything I wanted all my life.
Yes, yes.
All my life.
And when you said what you just said, it made me think of reviews. You know, when you order something and you look at the reviews, you can see 20 good reviews. And then you may see one bad. And you let that one bad hurt you.
That one bad even though
yes. So now, so let's segue into TrueVine Publishing Company. Tell us what made you decide that you wanted to start your own publishing company, because that's big.
Yeah, I didn't decide that.
Okay.
Here's the story. Well, first of all, I will say this. We were raised in a house where, I will give my father credit for that. Our father taught us to be self-employed, and he taught us that anything we can work for somebody else and get paid for, we can work for ourselves and get paid for. Our grandfather had a gas station. Our great-grandfather was given from his slave owner like 40 plus acres or something like that. Our family has always been entrepreneurial, right? And so that's always been in our DNA. Now, when it came to TrueVine, I just wanted to publish my book of poetry, and I wanted it to look professional. This was during a time when having a self-published book was frowned upon, right? So I put the book out and I put this name on the back of it, TrueVine Publishing Company. I went out and I did get a post office box because I was like, I'm starting a business, but it really wasn't. I had no idea what TrueVine could be. I had no desire to publish hundreds of books and hundreds of authors. I just wanted my book to look professional. And from there, it just continued to grow, like year by year, client by client. I helped somebody, they'd send a referral, that referral would send a referral, and before I know it, I'm helping people in New York, and I'm helping people in Texas, and and then I'm getting referrals in the Bahamas, and it's like the company just grew and evolved, and it really just came to my understanding, like recently, that I'm living in my purpose. This is why I'm here. Have you ever heard of the term griot?
I haven't.
Okay, a griot in African tribes, a griot is the person who carried the stories.
Okay.
Of the tribe.
Okay.
They have libraries, so you have people who told the stories of their people, right?
Will you spell it for me? G-R-E?
R-I-O-T.
Okay.
Yeah. And so a griot is basically the library of the people, right? They have the stories, the history of the people. And I'm a griot of my time. Like, I'm not the griot, right? There are multiple griots. But I'm a griot of my time in that I'm a channel to share the stories of the human experience, right? I'm a channel to help somebody share their story, like your story, right? I don't take any credit or try to be boastful, but, I help you develop the story and really make it, so that people resonate with it, right? Mm-hmm. And then it helps people. People learn from your experience. They learn lessons, and those lessons help those people to navigate this world a little bit better, right? And that's who I am. And when I learned that, Gail, I stopped looking at TrueVine as a business. I don't even look at it like a business anymore. And to the fact that I don't get stressed now when I don't have contracts coming in. Because I see myself like a part of nature. The tree out there is not out there marketing to the soil. Please come to me, soil. So yeah,
please rain. Part
of the ecosystem. It's a part of the universe. the universe is going to give the tree what it needs so the tree can give the universe what it needs. When you're walking in your purpose, you don't have to fight for the nutrients you need in order to be who God has made you in this world, right? You just have to be, because who you are helps the ecosystem. It helps the world. God's going to bring you the people, the resources, the money, everything, the rain, the heat, the cold. Everything is a part of what God is doing to make you who you are supposed to be. So those cold seasons, like in the winter comes, the trees don't say, why is this happening to me? Right? Right. It is an orchestrated time for the tree to get from the winter what it needs.
Yes.
And then when the season changes and it's a bunch of rain, the tree is not complaining about the rain. The tree understands, I need this rain now, right? And I'll take that in so that I can produce what I have to produce to give the universe what it needs. And so I'm in a different stratosphere now that I understand who I am in this world, right? And everybody needs to get there. Everybody needs to understand that who you are here for a purpose. It's not about making money. The money will come when you understand who you are, right? Let's say you find out who you are and money is not a part of that equation. You're still going to be just as satisfied and just as fulfilled.
Because it's from the heart. And
right. Yeah. When you're walking in who you are, like Martin Luther King, again, Martin Luther King, the government offered him a $300,000 job. It was like, come work with us. We'll help you do what you want to do. We'll pay you $300,000. This in the 60s. Right?
Yes.
300,000 today is a lot. 300,000 in the 60s?
That's like a millionaire, millionaire.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
And he turned it down because it wasn't his purpose.
So what I'm hearing you say, basically that was beautiful poetry to me. Yeah, that should be in your book of poems, because that was poetry to me. That was beautiful. And basically what I'm hearing you say is that if we align ourselves with God, know what our purpose is, because everyone don't get to know who and what they're meant to be and what they're meant to do. But if we are so blessed to know what our purpose is, just relax, let go, and allow God to orchestrate it all. Because even if it's not the money, it's the seeds that we're planting. It's the lives that we're changing, the lives that we're helping to save, the souls that we're saving, and the opportunities, like I said earlier in the introduction, to push someone else into their purpose.
Yeah, yeah. That's being who God has made you in this earth. But when you're walking in your purpose, it just takes all of that stress off of you, just knowing that everything that comes my way is for me. It's for me. And there's a reason this system doesn't want us to think like that, right? It really is. I have come to realize I can create wealth. Like, I can create, I can manifest, and it's happening more and more. I speak something, and then something starts happening. If I'm always in my phone and I'm always looking at the news and I'm always looking at the influencers and I'm always looking at, right, I can't get in that frequency.
Yes.
And that is by design.
Yes.
They do not want you to understand how powerful you are. Because if you understood that, you cannot benefit the system.
Yeah.
You can't benefit a system that needs you to think that you're only good as an employee. Right? I have a book I'm starting, but it's the title is going to be Everybody's a Gold Mine. Everybody's a gold mine. And what you just said speaks to it. Everybody has something unique about them that they could create a service and help somebody else. Everybody, right? And we live on a planet of 8 billion people. If you had a service, Gail, that you charge $1,000 for, on a planet of 8 billion people, is asking for 500 people to use your service, does that sound crazy?
No.
But that'll give you $500,000, right? And we think that we can't create something that would take care of us, for that we have to work for somebody in order to survive, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, this system does not want you to think like that.
And you know, Timothy, with me moving from Rock Hill, I was a cosmetologist, had a great clientele, my own salon, everything was great. But it wasn't my passion anymore because God had brought me through so much and he released me. It's time to give back. It's time to help other women, teenage girls, not have to go through what I endured. And so I moved to a new community where I don't know anyone or didn't know anyone, no outlets. And sometimes it gets a little disheartening because doors were opening for me in my old community. You know, I see people getting the speaking engagements. I see these things happening for them. And I'm like, ugh. And I remember talking to you about this, and you, your brother, other people have to create your own table, you know, create your own events. And what's his name? You know, E.T. You don't wait for anybody to invite you to their table. You know, you create your own table. And that's what I've been doing. And it's bringing me fulfillment. It's not bringing the monetary part right now. But it's bringing fulfillment. And I am happy with what it is that I'm doing. And I'm trusting God to till the soil, fertilize the soil, bring the rain.
That's what I was
saying. This ecosystem when it's time and when he releases those good things for me, I'll be ready. So I needed to hear that.
Yeah, everything is seed time and harvest. Everything. You moved. You didn't move your garden that had all the nice fruit. You moved.
Plant a
new ground now, right? But the beauty is, what you saw in the past is a reflection of what God is bringing. So what you left can only be smaller than where you're going, right? It can only, God's not going to take you from here, tell you, hey, leave this garden that's got 5,000 acres of wonderful growing apple trees, and then take you to somewhere else and be like, oh, no, I'm just going to give you an acre. No, now we got 10,000 acres. You had to leave there because you're outgrowing that place. And the proof that you're outgrowing it is if you don't feel that same passion.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit you anymore.
Yeah.
So
it would be so easy for me to go back to cosmetology. I'm like, I can go back to be a cosmetology and, you know, have my pockets full and lined. You know?
Go back to Egypt.
Yeah, but that's not
That's not where it's calling.
That's not where I'm supposed to be.
But the beauty is you got the fulfillment. That's God keeping you in place because you're planting the seeds and the seeds will grow. And then out of the blue, and you've experienced this, you're going to be like, whoa, where did all this come from? You know?
You are the caretaker right now, your mom.
Yes.
And now we're talking about love as well.
Yeah.
Do you mind telling the audience what your mother is experiencing right now? Is that something you feel comfortable talking about?
Yeah. My mom is dealing with dementia. They say dementia is diabetes of the brain. I truly believe that's what the issue is with my mom. Is she would there were days where she would wake up and her blood sugar was like down to 20, right? And she could barely move. And what we found out is she's basically experiencing brain damage when that would happen. Mm-hmm. Every time that would happen, it created what they call gray matter on her brain. So when we started realizing she was having issues and memory issues, and we finally got her to commit to go get tested, and they did the MRI, and they said she has way too much. It's way more gray matter on her brain than she should have at this age. And so I think that she just didn't know how to manage and eat properly with her diabetes. And she just would not eat enough or not take her meds. I don't know. But so she's dealing with dementia, and, she's unable to speak in full sentences. And, it was tough. It was tough because the toughest thing about having a parent that has dementia is that they go back to childhood. They go back to being a child, a 2-year-old who can't express what they want to express, but they have the mobility to get themselves in trouble and do dangerous stuff, right? And so, I got to the point where I was having to take my mom to a daycare. That was the toughest part of all of this, is driving my mom up to a building and putting her out of the car and watching her walk into a building for daycare like a child. Like, that broke me. Of all of it, that really broke me, because it just hurt so much to see like my mom is now a child again and not against her will, Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then what hurt the most is my mom went straight from work into assisted living. She
now having that transition time to enjoy retirement, enjoy the grandkids, and life without work. And
travel. And we had to retire her. We had to, another example of God just sending the right people at the right time. My aunt came, and she was like, she used to work for the IRS or something, but she knew everything she needed to do to get mom retired. I wouldn't know any of what she had done. And, so we had to retire her from her job. She didn't think she needed to stop working. And she was starting to get in trouble at work because she wasn't doing the job. She was forgetting how to log into her computer.
What did she do? What did you do?
She was
okay. Oh, okay.
So, she would call and be like, call Johnny. I'm suing this principal, because the principal is like coming down on her because she's not doing the job and she's not remembering to do stuff. And so we later find out why. We later find out why this principal stays on you. It's because you don't remember most of the stuff you normally should have processed.
Was there ever a time of, because when you think about this 5 stages of grief, was there ever a time of denial or anger? Or were you ever angry with God, or even were you ever angry with your mom for not being able to remember?
You went through all of that. You went through anger with mom, because you're like, this is not real. Because with dementia, especially in the beginning phases, it comes in, it's like a bad, cell phone. It goes in and out, right? One moment she's acting like she can't remember anything, and then the next moment she's talking about something that was 20 years ago. And it's like, you remember that? How you don't remember this conversation we just had? This is not real. Yeah. You go to the point of thinking, man, maybe she just wants attention, right?
Yeah.
You go through all of that. You get mad at God because it's like, here you got this crackhead over here who's 85 years old, on the street. And here my mom is, she's done everything right, taking care of us, just trying to live life, and now she's got dementia. You go through, you get angry with the people who don't help, the people who leave it all up to you, and then you just have to get to the point where you release the anger, because it's not doing you any good. And I have been resentful, I've been bitter, I've been angry, and finally I said, I release you. I release you of any responsibility. If you help, you help. But as of today, I'm taking full responsibility. And to me, it's like, I'm actually saying, I'll take all the blessings.
Yes. Because I was going to ask you, how much weight did that take off of you?
A lot
How
of
much weight did that add to you?
So it took the weight of resentment. See, the resentment is, I'm going to ask again. I'm going to make sure they know I need this money, right? Well, I released that.
I'm going to make them do
right.
it.
I'm going to make them. If they don't do nothing, I'm going to throw it in their face. I'm going to show them how much I spent this month, right? Well, you release that, and then it's like, all right, God, I need an extra $2,000 a month. And then it starts coming. Now, if you're not paying attention, you won't be grateful, right? If I'm still focused on like, well, they're not giving me. Well, God is going to be like, okay, you need them to give. Okay, well, we'll just let you deal with that, right?
Yeah.
Well, as long as you're depending on them, then that you'll get what you get from them.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say, God, I'm depending on you, guess what?
Overflow.
I'm not going to send you 2,000. I'm going to send you 20,000.
Yes.
I'm paying more now to take care of my mom's overflow than I used to make working, right? And it's like, God is a God of abundance. He's a God of abundance, So I don't have to worry when I get in alignment. You said that word, and that was the word for me for this year, alignment. When you get in alignment with God, it's an easy flow. It's like water coming out of a water hose. When you put that kink in it, the water's not flowing. When you open that kink up, you got alignment, the water flows. That's God's blessings. You got a kink when you got a bad attitude. You got a kink when you got resentment and anger and frustration. That's a kink in your water hose. When you release all of that, then God's blessings can flow easily beyond your ability to comprehend. You can't comprehend it. You're just like, where'd they come from? Where'd this business come from? It seems like every time I have a need, something pops up because you're in alignment. Right?
Exceedingly and abundantly.
Really abundantly. Yeah. I'm seeing it. So every time I think I told you in my meditations, I say that I have abundance, that I take care of my family, my mother. I help people who need food, clothing, shelter, and protection, and I enjoy my life. Those are the things I want to do with my life, with my money. Take care of my family, take care of my mom, help people who need help, and enjoy my life. And God is opening every time I give and I use my money as I say that I want to use it. Another influx of money comes, right? Yeah. It's not all about money, of course, but we're talking about alignment and how
the resources are needed for what needs to be. Yes, what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Yes. Does your mom recognize you? Does she?
No. Sometimes she will. She'll look at you and say, "Who you?" And that's how you know she's processing that I know your face, right? But she understands the word mama. So even though she doesn't recognize me, she knows that somebody's calling me mama, and she responds in kind, right? Mm-hmm. So I say, hey, mama, hey, baby. Mm-hmm. But she does. I say, do you recognize me? No, but she knows mama, so this must be my child, right?
And do you feel she recognizes love?
She recognizes love. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the most painful things about this moment is she stays in a place. Memory care is like a prison, really. They're locked in. And so I'll go get her, take her out, and she's not really having a cognitive conversation. But then I'll take her back, and she'll say something like, wait, where are you going? And that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Because I feel within she knows I don't want to go back in here. I want to stay out with you. And she can't express it, And that hurts. That hurts. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, because I can only imagine, and I saw before my father was getting ready to pass, that his memory was beginning to be affected. Mm-hmm. And it hurt because my father was a big man, and to see that aspect of it. And even though he passed, but some parts of me, Tim, I'm grateful that he did before he suffered. Yeah. And I'm grateful he did before he didn't remember. Because I don't know how I would have been able to handle it. And I definitely don't know how my mother would have been able to handle it. Mm-hmm. Because she's always, well, Billy, you already said that. Billy, why are you saying that? Why are you thinking that? We already told you that. And we're trying to say, okay, Mom, he doesn't know. Right. Oh, your daddy knows what he's talking about. So I know it would have been very, very, very stressful on her. So again, I say, I'm sorry. How do you take care of yourself emotionally and mentally and physically? What's your balance? What's your safe haven? What's your solace?
Meditation. Meditation. Connecting with the God within, and understanding that all things are working for you, not beating yourself up. So when I started meditating, okay, and connecting with God, I stopped judging myself, right? I stopped judging and condemning myself, right? So there's some things that there's some people if your mother was in memory care, there are some people who would go out every day. I'm not that person. And I used to beat myself up for not being that person. Until I realized you have to be who you are. Who are you? I'm going to make sure my mom has everything she needs. I'm going to make sure her needs are met, her bills are paid, she's in a safe place. But I'm not going out there every day. I'm not. I'm paying these people almost $60,000 or more than $60,000 a year. Make sure you take care of her. Make sure you call me if there's a problem. I'll come out and get her on the weekends and take her to get her hair done, that kind of stuff. But, this is what we're paying you for. And I'm not beating myself up about that anymore because she's safe. She's taken care of. There were times where, I would beat myself up for just anything, for the amount of freedom I had, right? All of these things that we feel guilty about because society tells us you should be this way. Meditation and connecting with God personally. Like, I understand a personal relationship with God now, right? I used to think a personal relationship was how much time I spent reading the Bible. And when I started stopping the world and shutting my eyes and just connecting with God, I was like, this is a personal relationship. And that's how I'm healing, and that's how I'm growing, is understanding everything that God is within me. How do you judge God? How do you, like, God will let us know that ain't right. But if you ain't feeling that ain't right, then why you beating yourself up? Right? If you're not hearing God be like, if you're not feeling a conviction in your heart that what you've done is wrong, then keep moving. Enjoy your life. Help others. Bless others. Enjoy your life. Bless others. Enjoy your life. That's
it. And there's a saying, who's going to take care of the caretaker?
Right.
Because during Age's illness, I did what I did, and I would do it again, but it was hard. Yeah. It was saddening. It was hard. Sometimes it was frustrating. And if you say you need help, or if you say you're tired, then people may say, well, you're a mother, you're not supposed to get tired.
Right.
Or you're not supposed to feel this way. But our feelings are our feelings.
Yeah.
And our feelings are real. And sometimes we have to do what we need to do to take care of ourselves in order to be able to make the provisions to do the other things, to take care of the ones we love as well. And so I honor you for just being in tune, because we could be so hard on ourselves, and the way one person beats their drum is the next person's not going to beat their drum the same way. Right. And I like that part. I look at it, stay in your lane. You know what works for Timothy.
Right.
You're in tune enough with yourself to know what works for you, and I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
I applaud you for that. This has been good. I heard you say that every day you make declarations to yourself. I'm worthy. I'm capable. I'm healthy. I'm wealthy. And I'm prosperous.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us about your declarations before we close.
This world wants you to feel unworthy. It wants you to feel you're not good enough. You're not skinny enough. You're not trim enough. You're not rich enough. You're not cool enough. And we internalize all of this, and everything connects to the next thing, right? How you think about yourself is going to affect how you act, and how you act is going to affect your reality, right? So we don't understand we are constantly creating the reality that we're living in. And so one of the biggest things that helped me was when I started telling myself I'm worthy of all that I want. I'm worthy of all the good that I want. And again, I'm not worthy because I'm a black man that's 48 years old with a beard and 200 pounds. And I'm worthy because of the God that's in me. The God that's in me is worthy to experience life through me in a way that honors God, in a way that helps other people, right? So that changes my mindset. And I really see that when those declarations I make, I really see them as reprogramming. Every day you have to program your mind. And we don't understand how we're being programmed every day by what we listen to, what we allow, the thoughts we allow to come into our minds, right? So just like a computer, our brains are computers. And you program a computer. And what you put in it is going to be your output. And so what kind of output do you want? And when are you going to input that? So you don't start your day out And we don't turn the computer on and then start typing. We turn the computer on and then all of the programming start loading, right? That's how the computer works. But we, as humans, we tend to wake up and then we let other things come in. We pick up our phone, we check our emails, we listen to voicemails, we look at social media, we program in all of this stress. Oh, Donald Trump is telling us we're going to cause war. Oh, we're about to go into war. Oh, these people are poor. You're about to lose your voting rights.
How many likes did my post get last night?
Like all of this stuff, before we even start our day, we programmed our mind with all this stress.
Before we even commune with God.
Before we even commune with God. Mm-hmm. So my thing now is I get up, I go to the gym, I meditate in the sauna at the gym, right? So I'm in there and I'm just programming how great I am through God, how great God is, how I'm worthy, right? How I'm capable to do, right? Like think about, here's an example. You knew you were capable of doing your intro, even though you were nervous about it, right? But it's the understanding that I could do this. But a lot of people don't believe they're capable, so they stop. There are a lot of us who have big dreams, but until we program, I'm capable, I'm worthy to have this big dream, and I'm capable of achieving this big dream, right? So those two are very important to me, worthy and capable. Then I was like, I used to say wealthy first, but then I was like, you know what? More important than wealth is health. So then I reaffirm and I program my brain and my cells that I am healthy, right? Now, there are some things that we have to do to be healthy. But I do think there's also a dynamic of what we say to ourselves and how we speak to ourselves. There are proven, there are examples of people who literally thought themselves to death.
Yes.
Right? Like we've seen that. So how we think affects our health. And it's also been proven people with cancer. People with cancer die at a higher rate if you are dealing with a lot of stress, right? The cancer feeds on that acid, right? So understanding you're capable, you're worthy to have greatness, to live in your greatness, you're capable of achieving your greatness, you have the health to enjoy your greatness, right? Otherwise,
it doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
There's a saying that says a healthy man has many dreams, an unhealthy man has but one, right? Once you don't have your health, the only thing you want is health.
It's your health, yeah, to be better. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then think about the woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah. So it's our job to optimize, to eat right.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of the year, my blood pressure was 131/94, right? So my body is telling me, hey, you're doing something wrong. It's my choice now. Am I going to listen to it, or am I going to keep eating fried chicken every day and fish and all this crap that's causing my body to go into this bad state? So we have a job to do as well, but I think also by saying every day that I'm healthy, it reinforces my determination when I have a choice to eat junk or eat good foods, right? Because now I have to be in alignment with what I declare every day. And then I'm wealthy. Of course, everybody wants to be wealthy, right? And then some people would think prosperous is the same as wealthy, but prosperous means the things that I do prosper, right?
Yes.
That has nothing to do with money.
Thoughts, action, deeds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You prosper. When you do something, it works.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so that's my programming. Because I get up every day and I have to go hunt. Right? I have to go out and find business or do something to create an opportunity, or at least take advantage of an opportunity, right? I don't have a somebody who's paying me, right? And so I have to have the right programming to get out here and feel happy, feel fulfilled, and have the energy to live my purpose. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's how it, and then from there, I just God will talk to me sometimes, and I'll just take in what God is saying to me, or sometimes I'll just sit there and just be quiet. But yeah, that has changed my life. That has changed my life.
I like that. Thank you so very much for sharing your interpersonal affirmations with us. Thank you.
Yeah.
My next question, and then we're going to talk about your business.
Okay.
What would you tell the younger Timothy? Because you said you suffered. You said that you had insecurities as a kid or insecurities growing up. Would you say that you are more secure now, that you are secure in yourself? Mm-hmm. What would you tell a younger Timothy?
I don't know if here's what I'm thinking. All right. Here's what I'm thinking. I wish I could not tell him, but relay to him where I am right now. Because I could tell anybody, hey, you're worthy, you're capable, right? I can tell you that. Until you understand it, like till you really understand it, it means nothing. It's just like everybody says something nice to you, right? Mm-hmm. I wish I could get him to understand that he has a expected end. He has a place in this world. And I think most of us are just searching all over for this place. Where am I, right? And a lot of times we allow the world to direct us because we don't know what finding who we are really looks like. I would tell him that more important than your education, more important than how much money you make, is your systems, your habits. You don't even have to know what you're doing. Your habits will create your reality. So if you want to be healthy, create healthy habits. You don't have to have a strategy. You just have to do healthy things, right? You want money, do things that add money and save money. It's not about finding some quick fix. It's about if a guy made $30,000 a year, if he saved $15,000 every year, no matter what the world thought about how he lived, he would be richer than the average millionaire in America, because the average net worth of an American is negative 15%. That means most of us are 15% in debt, right? Yeah. So we have millionaires who they're living, and I know this for a fact because I used to work at a bank, living off their equity line of credit, buying McDonald's off of the equity in their homes, right? Driving Maseratis and living in big houses, but they don't have any money because they don't have healthy habits or wealthy habits. So I would tell them that, and I would just want to really infuse within him where I am right now, because I don't know if you can get that until you actually get to that point where you embrace that, you know?
Yeah. And the song that came to my mind, Tiana Taylor.
What's
you made it. You know the song I'm talking about. You made it, girl. You made it. You made it. You know? Yeah. Infusing him, the healthy habits, infusing him where you are now. Yeah. You made it.
Yeah.
You made it.
I'll tell you this. If I knew what I know now, I can honestly say I'd be a multi-millionaire right now, and I'd be just traveling the world and just living life, enjoying every day. Yeah.
It is coming.
Yeah, it's here. It's here.
Yeah, you're only 48 years old. You got a long time to live.
Yeah.
God is going to do great, great things for you. And for all the audience that are watching and everyone that wants to know, how do I write a book? What do I do once I write my book? Who can help me publish my book? I'm going to give you the spotlight right now.
I want to make it simple. You know, we got two. This is episode 2 now, right? So, I tell everybody what it takes to write a book is to write the book. It is not difficult. It is. Don't compare yourself to another writer. Don't compare your work to the writings of other authors. Writing a book is relaying a message, period. How do you help somebody with the information that you have and writing that down? If you can talk, you can write. Now, TrueVine will be that team for you when it comes to how do we edit and make these words sound better. You have to have a team. You can't do it all. So don't get stuck thinking that you have to write the perfect book before you pass it over. You just have to put down your message and let your team help you build it. Call TrueVine Publishing Company, 615-44 books, TrueVinePublishing.com. TrueVinePublishing.com. Or you can call us at 615-44 books, BOOKS, and that equates to some numbers on your pad. You can find me on social media, on Instagram at Tim the Publisher. You can find me on Facebook, TrueVine Publishing. You can also find me at Timothy O. Bond on Facebook. And then on TikTok, it's The Legacy Author, the-legacy-author.
Thank you. This has been a great, great, great interview. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And before we leave, I have one question that has 3 answers.
Okay.
This is the Gail Estella Survival Podcast.
Okay.
Tell the audience 3 things that has helped you to survive.
Help me to survive. God, for sure. Okay. You may have to edit this because when I think about survival, it's so beyond where I am right now. I don't see myself in a survival state anymore. So when I was in a survival state, it was God, it was my family, and it was faith. Now, this I always did have faith, knowing that there is a greater day coming. And maybe that came from always being told you're a proper child. I had that always enforced in me, that there's a future expected for you. And so I would say to everyone, that is the most important thing, knowing that that future is coming. Do not give up. Do not give up. There is an expected place for you, and you just have to ask God for that direction, and He will bring it to you.
He will bring it to you. And I'm going to do something I usually don't do, that I would probably beat myself up if I don't do it.
Okay.
The proper child. Give us the definition or the terminology, well, the definition of what a proper child meant then and what it means to you now.
So in the Bible, Moses, when the Pharaoh is killing all the children, the Bible says that his parents looked at Moses, they saw that he was a proper child, and that that's why they hid him away. So basically, a proper child means there's a calling on this child's life. God has something on this child's life. My family and the church members interpreted that as being a preacher. I don't see that anymore. Interesting enough, I don't even have the voice for a preacher. Like, I can't even talk loud. I'll get choked up because my voice will, like, my vocal cords tighten up. So the identification of like being a preacher, I wanted it for so long until I finally understood, like, that doesn't mean you're going to be a preacher. God has something for you, but it doesn't mean you're going to be on a pulpit, preaching. But now I do understand that, I'm a griot of my time. I'm a
deliverer.
Well, yeah, I received that. Yeah.
A deliverer of, yes.
Yes. So that's what proper child is. They saw something. Some would say there's a mark on you, and I used to look for where this mark was. I did. I thought I have a birthmark right here. I used to think maybe that's the mark. I used to look for a mark, but that's what they would say. There's a mark on you.
Thank you. And I meant to ask that question earlier, and I didn't. And I'm glad you brought it back because I would have beat myself up for not asking that question. So I got the chance.
Yeah.
Thank you, Timothy.
Thank you so much.
Have a good evening. Okay.
You've been on.
Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.